Hey everybody, welcome to Back Porch Cooking and Reminiscing. I'm Roger.
And I'm crazy.
I have to say I agree with her.
I don't appear in a lot of Roger's videos because I have body image issues and I care way too much about what other people think about me. So that's why I mostly work behind the scenes. But I thought since Roger called me crazy in his last video, I'd make an exception this time. Now, with all that said, I thought I would use Miss Ethel's rolling pin to bam bam Roger on his head for what he said about me earlier. Just kidding. I know I can't show that on TV. But on a serious note, I want to thank you guys for watching our videos and supporting us. We really appreciate it. Um, I just wanted to pop on and say hello and to tell you guys to take care and God bless you all. And I will see you further down the road.
So now that crazy's gone, let's get into cooking some sausage and gravy. It's rich, creamy, and peppery gravy made from scratch. This easy recipe uses things that you probably already have. It's perfect over biscuits every time, and you can even use it to pour over top of your eggs. That makes them just as awesome as the biscuits. Let's get to making this homemade southern sausage and gravy. So y'all, today we're going to be making a homemade sausage gravy from scratch. So I'm browning up some sausage right now. Now with the sausage you can use any kind that you like. Tennessee Pride, Jimmy Dean, just whatever you like to use. This is Goolsby sausage, and that's just something that we used to use in the restaurant, so we really like it. And we bought an extra case or two of it before we left the restaurant just so we'd have plenty. And so we're just going to brown that sausage up there, and once we get it brown, we're going to take it out of the skillet. Now, a lot of people will leave it in the skillet and just pour some flour in there and start making their gravy, but I personally just don't like to do it that way. I like to pull my meat out and then make my roux and then add the meat back to it. That way I can see how brown that the roux is going to be. And I personally don't like a white gravy when I make it homemade. I like it to have a little bit of a brown color to it. And so that's what we're going to be doing here today. So we've got our meat browned, our sausage, and I'm going to cut the heat down on that just a tad. And now, like I say, this is just how I've always liked to do it. I like to take my meat out, maybe leave just a little bit in there in the skillet to start with. So we're just going to take the majority of it out. And this is a pretty lean sausage, so it didn't cook a whole lot of grease out of it. So we're going to have to add a little oil to that so we can make our roux. And again, I'm only making it for two of us, so I didn't use a full pound of sausage. Just depending on how many people that you're feeding as to how much sausage that you're going to want to use. Probably I would recommend just go ahead and use at least a full roll of sausage. But so what we're going to do next is we're going to add a little vegetable oil to this. We've got a good base there, but we're going to add a little more oil to it so we can make our roux good. All right, that covered about half the pan while I was pouring, or half of the skillet. So that's where I'm going to stop at. Get some of this oil off my hand. All right, now we're going to take our white lily. This is self-rising that we're going to use in this. So we're going to take the self-rising flour, And we're going to get us some of that. We're going to put in that skillet with that oil and that little bit of sausage. And it will start to sizzle a little bit. We'll put that in there and then we'll see if we need any more. Let's go ahead and turn our heat back up to about a medium. And then we just stir that around and use a good heavy duty fork to do this with. And we just want to try to get all the oil and the flour blended together to make a kind of a paste with it. Just scoot everything over to the side that the flour's staying on and just keep stirring it around. It'll get there for you. All right, that's looking good. We might come in with just a touch more flour, but not very much. And we'll just stir that in. Now this flour and oil is going to start to brown, and you have to just kind of let it sit for a minute. You don't have to, once you get it all incorporated, you don't have to keep stirring and stirring and stirring. So we're good there. And now you do have to use the clinky fork on that. So we're going to let that brown a little bit, and we'll come back when it's ready to do the next step. All right, so our gravy's been on here. It's starting to brown a little bit. Now the reason you brown it is because if you don't brown it a little bit, your flour is going to taste like flour in your gravy. If you brown it a little bit, it's a whole lot better. So we got just a little touch of brown on there. So now we're ready to use our milk, and I'm going to use a can of evaporated milk in this. You know, back in the old days, people didn't have a lot of sweet milk unless they had cows. So they used canned milk a lot. And so that's what we're going to use today. Now, once you put your milk in it, you got to keep stirring it. That's the main thing, is that you keep stirring it because it's going to thicken up. Now, since we're using this evaporated milk, let's get the rest of that can in there. And we're going to turn our heat down just a little bit more. We're on about a 2 there. We're going to just keep on stirring. Like I say, it's going to thicken up on you. When it does, after using the evaporated milk, you come back with some water, because that's going to help cut that flavor of that evaporated milk down a little bit and make it more like you're using sweet milk. Now, you can use sweet milk on this if that's what you want to use. That's not a problem. But again, the main thing is that you just keep stirring. It's starting to thin down a little bit now. Let's go back with a little more water. Now, if you don't keep stirring, you will have lumpy gravy. So that's the reason that you want to keep on stirring on it. This is going to turn out a little whiter color than what I really wanted it to be, but it will taste good, I'm sure. All right, so now that we got it at that stage, we're going to hit it with a little salt and pepper. So let's just put a little salt. It does take a bit of salt for gravy. Let's go with a little bit of pepper in there. Get that all incorporated in there and stirred around. Add a little more water. You just keep adding the water slowly until you get it the consistency that you want it to be at. And like I say, add it just a little bit at a time, because if you put a lot in there at one time, you may get it too thin. And you don't want thin gravy. All right. All right, we've added our sausage back to our gravy, and it looks really good. Used a little more water to thin it down a little bit. And I like my gravy thick on a biscuit, which that's what we're going to do with this today, but I don't want it super thick. So that's going to be your preference of how you like it. If you like it thick, then leave it thick. If you like it a little thinner, then get you a little more water, put you a little more water in there with it, and it'll be fine. So it's just depending on how thick you like it. All right, so we're going to get us a plate and a biscuit, and we're going to put some of this on the biscuit and give it a taste. All right, y'all, so I've got a couple of biscuits here. We're going to get us some of this gravy, pour all over these biscuits. This is the first thing I've eaten today, and it's almost 1 o'clock, so I'm pretty hungry. All right, and now, just to make it pretty, we're going to put just a little bit more pepper on it. All right, y'all, so there's our finished plate with biscuits and gravy. Let's give it a try. All right, so it's a moment of truth again. There's our biscuit and our gravy. Here we go. Y'all, that is delicious. Tell you what it reminds me of. Back when I was a kid, we used to go to Kentucky a lot, up around Elizabethtown, Kentucky. And there was a truck stop up there that when you went in, if you ordered gravy biscuits, they asked you, did you want a half order or a full order? Half order was, I think, 3 biscuits smothered in gravy. A full order was like 6 biscuits smothered in gravy. So every time we would go to Kentucky, we'd always go to this little truck stop to eat. Fond childhood memory that I have, and this reminds me so much of the gravy and biscuits that they served at that little restaurant. So if y'all are hungry for some gravy and biscuits, I'm going to leave the recipe in the description for the gravy. And we just did a biscuit video just a few days ago. I'll link that too. And so you can make yourself some awesome gravy and biscuits. Thank y'all for watching. Remember, like, subscribe, and share. Help us to grow the channel. Appreciate y'all being with us, and we'll see you next time.